This episode of the Play the Game podcast is brought to you by LonewolfPaintball.com. And when it comes to paintball, Lone Wolf is the name you can trust. They have been in the game since the very beginning as Michigan's premier field and supplier since 1987, and Lone Wolf has built a legacy of excellence, passion, and service that runs deep in the game. From their top-tier customer service to same-day shipping on all orders, Lone Wolf makes sure that you are locked and loaded with your new gear fast. No waiting around, no hassle, just the best brands in paintball delivered straight to your door. They've got it all. Markers, loaders, tanks, apparel, accessories, and more from all of your favorite brands. And whether you're just getting started in the game or gearing up for your next big event, LonewolfPaintball.com has everything you need. Be sure to check out their YouTube channel at Lone Wolf Paintball and follow them on Instagram at LoneWolfPB to stay up to date on all the latest gear, exclusive sales, and community content. At Play the Game Podcast, we are incredibly grateful for Lone Wolf's continued support, and we cannot wait for you to become a part of their growing community. Head on over to LonewolfPaintball.com right now and gear up with the best in the game.
What's going on, PTG Nation? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This episode, we have the president of the NXL, Tom Cole. He's on to break some major news, discuss current events, and really dive into the future of the sport. It's a very exciting episode, one of my favorites in recent memory. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon. Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to PTG. We have another great episode for everybody out there, and we got Tom Cole, the president of Major League Paintball / NXL. What are we calling it these days, Tom? What are we doing?
A little bit of everything. We call it Major League Paintball.
That's a good question.
The NXL is the actual event, but Major League Paintball is the group.
Okay, perfect. Well, it's great to have you, Tom. Thank you so much for always cutting out time to chat with us and connect with the community. We actually have a ton of Discord questions for you today, so
Sure.
I'm sure you're excited about that.
Yep.
And yeah, man, thank you. How's it going? Where you at? What's going on?
Cool. I'm in Alabama. I'm good. This is like my longest stretch at home. I've been home for like 4 days, so I'm super
There we go.
stoked.
Heck yeah.
It's a nice chunk right there.
Yeah, it's a good chunk. Yeah, no, I was really, really happy. Really happy.
Good. Yeah, we just got out of Texas there. I'm sure you were on a mission of mercy, getting everything ready. Like, maybe let the people know kind of what it entails to get one of these events ready, because I don't think everybody fully understands how much work it is.
Well, first, the most important thing is to pick a venue where it's not going to rain at. And
Dude, you deserve a round of applause for this one. Texas was nice.
Finally.
Texas, we finally did it. Look at that. Look at that.
I think we've been doing it for 30 years, and I don't know if we've ever had a sunny Texas. Maybe the first year that we did it with the PSP at Jed's Park, it didn't rain. So that was my first venue help with the PSP. And so I think that gave me a false sense of security with Texas. And I just keep going back.
Yep.
But yes, I thought this event was great with the weather.
It
It was
was.
a little warm, right? Definitely a little warm, but I prefer
that.
warm to rainy every day.
Well, and it wasn't super
Absolutely.
humid. I mean, Cincinnati was way worse, you know.
Yeah.
A lot more humid, just as hot. Yeah, I thought it was perfect. For a Texas event, we walked away pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've said this before, but like most of the pros, when you look at when they quit, it's after a really bad Texas event.
What do you mean?
So like when we did the 2v2, I had all these old school pro guys hitting me up saying, have I ranked down to be able to play this? And so I would go look at their records, and literally of the 7 people that called me, every one of them, their last tournament was Texas. So
Jesus.
and you can just imagine, it's like you're already on the edge, right? And
Yeah.
your wife's mad that you're going away and you're practicing, and you're spending all this time and money, and then you show up there and it's a mud bowl, and you're like, why am I doing this? Why?
Yeah, this event was the complete opposite. It was perfect. The grass is outstanding. Like March said, the humidity wasn't out of control. Every time I go to Texas, I'm just expecting it to be 100,000% humidity. Obviously, playing on Houston Heat, I was out in the Houston area quite a bit training out there, and it was some of the hottest paintball days. And I know in Alabama, same kind of pedigree.
Same hot. It's still hot now. But you would
Oh,
ask
yeah.
what it takes. Like our crew shows up on Thursday before the event. So the Thursday before the event. And I mean, so we're building from that point on. And then we get out of there typically the Wednesday night to Thursday morning after the event.
Hmm.
So that's 3 Thursdays we spend there.
I actually think it's pretty cool that his name's Matt. He's one of the pro refs, but he's been kind of like vlogging and recording all of the setup and stuff that they've been doing.
Yeah.
And it's been a cool perspective to see, because even myself, who's been pretty closely involved with you guys for a long time, didn't quite understand it, at that level, but it's a lot of work. I mean, even days after the event, he's there sun up to sundown, and you guys have the whole crew out there just trying to make sure that we leave a nice clean space, which it looked like after this Texas event. The grounds looked amazing, and all the setup beforehand. Like, it is a lot of work. It is not just a 4-day event.
Yeah, you really notice it. Like, you'll show up one day, and the crew's great, right? We have a great crew. They've been doing it for like forever. They were doing it before, they worked for me, right? They did it with the PSP. They probably did it before that. But like, you show up and it's just an empty field, and then I show up 2 days later, and then it's got almost all the structure, right? And then to see that transformation, and then you start to see the glam, right? And we start getting the banners and stuff, because obviously that's the last stuff to go up, because if we had real bad weather or whatever, that's the stuff we would triage. And then you show up Monday morning, and just the amount that they've just tearing down already, right? Because they start Sunday. We start collapsing as it goes, and just that transformation is insane. And then you'll walk it like on Tuesday, and it'll look like everything's done, and then you go to the fields and you just see all the paintballs that we still got to get up. It's daunting.
Yeah, man, it is a lot of work.
It's like the day after the party, right? You wake up, you get the couch, passed out on the grass. That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do on Monday morning is get up and go deal with it, right? Because it's been a whole
3 weeks worth of nonstop monotonous work. And you've been doing events for quite a long time, Tom, right? Like, when did you start the journey of
So I probably ran my first event in like 94. I ran one event. I partnered with John Amadea and Mike Peveril at the DC Cup, which really meant, because it was my hometown, I did a lot of work on the event there. But I started probably running events in 2007, maybe. Somewhere in that ballpark. I mean, I've been involved with events my whole life. I did the Spider Cup with Spider.
Yeah.
I was the first president of the NPPL in like 93. So I've been doing it a long time. I think at 93, I think my woman was born in 95. So that's perspective.
Yeah, he's in the game, baby. He's been in the game. You're the godfather, man.
Both sides. So
that's right.
A long time.
And what he means by both sides is also playing professionally as well, and had a storied career and playing a lot of pro paintball events and being in the mix as an athlete. So understanding it from both perspectives as well of being a player.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I played for Bad Company forever. I still play, I play like some 10-man stuff occasionally, play some scenarios. My claim to fame is I beat Billy Sharansky last year at the Decay of Nations. The highlight of my last year's career. So
yeah, man, the woods ball, honestly, that's how I started playing paintball. I didn't start on an airball field. It's like that was the most captivating form at the time when I got involved. And I got to watch Push every day. I had the VHS watching Push, watching everybody running around in the thicket out there having fun.
That's when you became one of my favorite players, was that UWL and SC Village, man. When you were like diving for that flag and you were so fired up. Your face was like, I was trying to check you or something. And keep in mind, the UWL is a for fun tournament. And your face just looked at me like, I am going to destroy some people. You need to get away from me. Like, you were just so intense. So yeah, that was good.
The UWO was one of the greatest tournament series ever created in the history of paintball. I think we need to run that back immediately.
Yeah, no, I actually had a lot of fun designing that and playing that and kind of being a part of that. It was fun. Yeah, a lot of work, so it was frustrating, hard to ref. But
of course, out in the woods, it's a whole nother ball game. You think people are cheating on the pro fields now? It's crazy out there.
It's lawless out there.
It could have been some weeds with a ditch and a river. Pretty much giving them all the tools they need.
That's right. Yeah, but it was the most fun style of paintball. And I think we're going to get into that on the show quite extensively, actually, and talking about different styles of paintball and just things that we can do to think outside of the box to keep the game exciting. Because that style was like Call of Duty. If you've ever played Call of Duty Domination with the 4 flags, that's the exact style that we played in the UWL. And it was out in the woods of SC Village out there. It was one of the most fun tournaments ever. But there's something really captivating about owning some territory and then protecting the territory and then, you know, having to go to their home base and take their base. It was a really fun format.
And a lot going on. So
a lot going on, for sure.
I'm assuming, because I don't get a briefing before these calls, so I'm assuming we're going to talk about the fact that we didn't play very many points and we had what I would consider a critical fail on our end at this event for making it entertaining. So I'm sure that's where we're going.
Well, I think we have to. I think we have to have that discussion. Obviously, we know that you guys have been having that discussion internally. There's a lot of good ideas out there too, to, you know, kind of fix some of this stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's been a few events now, right? Like it's kind of been a little bit. It's
actually been a progressive over the years. I can give you the stats because we keep stats. So in 20 and 21, we were averaging about 9 points a match, and we are currently down to 5. Points a match.
Yeah. When did that curve start?
It's a straight drop. So we went 9, 9, 8, 6.5, 7, 5. So it's 5.5 really. Let's give us the benefit of the doubt here, 5.5. But it's a steady decline. Like if that was a bank account, you'd be concerned. Right. So that was a bank account.
Yeah.
So,
but when was so it's just a steady decline over that period of time. There's not a drop off in any year.
No, I mean there's not a huge. I mean, there's basically a 1 point per match drop off per year. And to be honest with you, the Russians are probably the team saving us because they like to run up a lot of points.
Yeah.
Sure. So if you took them out of the mix, it'd probably be lower. So I have a chart that has every event and gives the average points scored per event. And then I have, then we put the layout in there to see if there's any type of variance in the layout of what could be causing that. But it's a progressive. So some of it is, I think, the layout design gets challenging the longer you have a kit, because you do see a little uptick when we switch the kit in points played. So when we switch a kit, and so I don't know if that's the players learning how to play that specific bunker, or is it that, Jason, who's designing the layout, just has more options, right? Because he's trying he's got a challenging job, right? He's trying to keep the layouts exciting without just doing what works, right? Because to be honest, as a coach, if you found a play that worked, you would just grind it out forever until people force you to change it, right? We can't do that with a layout. We can't find one good layout and just run with it until people say I'm tired of playing it. So we change it every time. So yeah, but we've seen a depressing decline in points played. And some of that's also just, player IQ, right? You guys have learned that the differential makes a big difference. And, before it was a couple key teams, mostly ones with Crandall on it, that were like playing the point differential. But now everyone knows about the point differential, right? So everybody knows that you're better off playing a 1-2 game than you are a 6-4 game.
Yeah. That's
so,
right.
Yeah, there's a few things there though, Tom. And recently I've been going back and watching matches from 2023 and 2022. And the games are just more entertaining and faster pace. And 2024 is when a new bunker kit was introduced, and it was the added beams. And ever since then, the fields have been slower. That's my takeaway.
But it's not true. So in 2024, we averaged 7 points per match when we added the snake beams. And in 2023, you were at 6.
Yeah. So again, I do think there's probably anomalies like the Russians who have decided in the last 2 years that they want to play this pace, and they've really upticked things. And I think maybe that can skew overall stats. But the amount of 1-0 games in the last 2 years is higher than it's been in a long time.
Okay. I believe it's a mixture of all the things.
Yeah, for sure it is. But from a player standpoint, I know certainly that when there's this many beams and it's really easy to get into the 40-yard line on either side of the field, and there's not much reward there, you're going to have slow games, because why wouldn't the teams get there? And then once good players are in good spots, but it's on both sides of the field, you're kind of at a standstill. Now there's no real big move to be made. Right. Again, I know I texted you this during the event, and you didn't seem like you wanted to have any of it, but
I was not in the mood at that point in time. Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard, I kirked out on Uprising at some point.
Oh no, I did not
Yeah.
hear.
In fairness, Uprising was not wrong in this situation. I was wrong, but yeah, I was so mad that they were sitting up. They were just sitting there during that game, and it was baffling to me. I understand on Saturday late in the afternoon, people are playing the points. They were just so ahead of the curve. Give them a plug. They were ahead of the curve. They were playing the points way earlier than anybody else did, and it was very frustrating for me. Plus, we were getting booed in the grandstands, and I made that long walk around to ask them what the hell they were doing. And by the time I got there, I was like code red. So yeah, they got a little bit of.
Let's go, Jimmy. Let's go, baby.
There's multiple things to this, right? No matter what field layout you have, that won't speed up teams that are trying to deploy that strategy, right? Where they either win or lose a point and decide not to concede because they want to keep the margin close. So the field layout won't ever change that. There's a different set of rules and things that we can implement that will change that. But the actual field play, I really do think the fields have a lot to do with it. Again, when it's really easy to get to all the good spots and then all the good spots aren't that rewarding, you have a standstill. You always will. You always will, because players are close to other players. So like there's no gap that can't be. I think even with limited paint, it would still be a little bit of a standstill.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, as it is right now, we see no indication that limited paint plays faster points.
Correct.
Points, right?
Yeah.
We also have our numbers, right? The PSP European numbers, or actually PSP. I don't know why now. I get PSP
NXL, Major League
European numbers, and they're almost the exact same as our numbers. I do believe it has a lot to do with layout, but it does have something to do with format, right? Because the argument could be made, and because 3-man, obviously, we're playing the exact same layout, and we're playing twice as many points.
Yeah, for sure. Are you talking about the?
I'm not saying that it's not apples to apples, but it means that when you change the format, no matter how unproductive the layout is, there could be format tweaks that make it always play faster.
Yeah, it's not a good sample size though, Tom, because again, that Thursday is treated like a practice by 98% of the teams. I would say maybe all of them. And so when the stakes aren't nearly as high, you're willing to take risk. You're actually like looking to take risk and see what you get away with in some sense.
Well, I would agree with that until the finals, right? And the finals also typically are pretty high scoring in the 3v3, right? If you look at our Sunday paintball, right? In traditional X-ball, it's slow. It comes to a grind. Whereas the 3-man still runs up a lot of points, even though it's half the amount of time. Keep in mind, you're only playing for 7 minutes, which is less than half the amount of time. So obviously the less bodies, the faster it is. We could use that same layout and play 1-on-1 and it would be faster, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's really a full-blown recipe of everything having to go right or wrong in order to kind of create these situations. It's not any one ingredient that's going to make this better. But I do believe that something's got to change.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think that, the job of having to create a new layout every single event is daunting. And that's a lot of pressure. And it's a lot for any individual to do. So hats off to Jason for everything that he does. And I think, is Thomas involved too with creativity, or is it just Jason?
No, he helps with the WCPPL.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah, no, it's just, we intentionally keep it just to one person. I mean, we could go to a committee, we could have all this stuff. It just, the more people you add, the more chance you have of a leak, right?
Of course,
and not being able to point the leak back. And everybody has, lifelong affiliations, you know what I mean? Just make it challenging, right?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I think that, like you said, Tom, it's not just one thing. It's a couple of different things. And I think that it's good that we're having these conversations because obviously we want it to be entertaining for the people.
And another key point, it's because the comebacks that I get, is when I'm mad that we play these slow points, right? Both sides are right? So I'm mad because it has nothing to do with the spectators, and it does have something to do with the spectators, but it's also a lot less fun to play. If I told you guys before the event and I said, hey, the rules are, we're going to play 1 point every 10 minutes. And if you win that point, you have to stay on the field for the remainder of the 10 minutes, just stand there and mill around. You wouldn't come, right? And that's literally what the Red Legion did that one game, right? It's basically Krill got to stand in the sun for 8 minutes. And that was his tournament, right? He's a paying customer. And basically we have 2 paying customers that are affecting each other's good time. Now they both obviously kind of somewhat agreed because either one of them could have changed the dynamic of that. But we have to make sure it's still fun to participate, right? That's our primary goal, right? My primary goal in life is to make it fun, not necessarily to make it spectator friendly. Spectator friendly is the second tier of having it be fun.
Of course. And paintball naturally is one of the most fun things you're going to watch or see. Yeah, exactly. And I think that also possibly even incentivizing the points. I know we've talked about points won as an incentivization for
right now.
Teams.
That's my push, is to say that it's points scored in matches won.
It's the easiest solution without changing anything else.
Right? Because if you count it in points lost, then theoretically they would have just, the last matches could get to be a crazy point fest, which we don't want. But what would have happened in Uprising, so the way the rules are written, and Uprising gave a very compelling argument. Gil, shout out to Uprising. They didn't argue with me when I was mad. They came and argued with me when I was calm. So give them points for that. And they out-argued me, right? They were right in what they said, which was, we've incentivized them to play that way. If we would have incentivized them to play another way, they would have played that way, right? So, and damage is the art of that, right? If damage gets down a couple points, they'll still put it on you, right? They will bring an exciting game if they have to, but if they don't have to, they're not going to. And why would they? So we need to incentivize it. So what would have happened there, and his argument's pretty good, because they felt they weren't going to beat the Russians, regardless of what happened at that point. They'd given their best effort, and they had lost both times, and it wasn't even like they lost 3 on the break or something. They were just getting beat. So he was like, we don't want to run up the margin. But if the points only counted for you if you won the match, there is no reason now to try not to win that match. Because even if you fling it and you go, sword in hand and go die, it doesn't matter, right? Because it's not going to affect you in a margin.
Well, and that's what the people want to see. That's what the people want. They want to see them.
And that's really why I kirked out on Uprising, because I like up and coming teams. I really want those guys to do well. I think everyone knows I'm always rooting for the guys that are coming up, and their fans aren't going to be happy with that. No one wants to watch a team that doesn't want to die on the sword, right? That's what sports are. Like if I was a boxer and every time I went to go fight a guy, I just ran in circles around the thing and never got in the boxing match with the guy, no one's going to like me. I might.
One pushback on that though, Tom, is if you make the rule to where the margin only counts if you had won the match, you still are going to run into teams, especially because the strategy right now, and it's widely known in the pro league, if you don't believe your team is better on paper than the team you're playing against, you want a low scoring game. So you might still run into that where one of the bottom tier teams tries to run out the clock and have a 1-0 game towards the end so that then they only have to win 1 point to tie. Then it's overtime and you only have to win 1 point. They don't want a lot of points.
I'm not doubting that people are going to still, the team that's not as good is still going to try and play a slow point thing.
But not if, what if the tiebreaker was just points scored? So even if you lost the match, but you scored 4 points, that's added into
what I worry about there. So if you do it for wins or losses, right? So let's just say, let's go hypothetical. I'm playing Dynasty in the finals, right? I don't think I can beat Dynasty, and Dynasty doesn't want Impact in the finals. So I'm competing against Impact, and you're just competing for first place. It would be very easy for us to say, you're going to win this match, give me 6 points. Right? Yeah. And so you would then knock an Impact out.
But again, you get caught doing that and you're DQ'd for the season. Like we just have to make these punishments for cheating harsh.
I agree. I agree, but you can still do it. You can still do it just naturally, right? Whereas if the points only count 4, and I don't disagree with you, I'm playing red team here. If you do it just points 4, it completely gets rid of that. And the team has there's no reason not to try and win a match. So Uprising's argument was, we don't believe we can win the match. Let's just say it's 60-40, right? We have a 40% chance of winning this match, but we're guaranteed if we lose it, to lose it by a higher differential. So we're not going to take that chance. Under this new system, you have no reason not to try and play every point out. And if it goes 6-0, it goes 6-0. It's not a negative against you. So under the, you know what I mean? Any type of differential system, you're always going to have points given up as a negative. And points won also means that if we had 2 powerhouse teams playing each other, where they're both on the bubble or whatever, we don't know where it's going to go. It would only benefit one guy of that group. You know what I'm saying? I probably didn't explain that clearly, but yeah.
No, It makes sense. Yeah, it's
We're working on it. And this isn't an instant fix, right? Like, I think we need to think about it. And I do think go ahead, Marcelo.
Yeah, another just easy idea as well. I mean, maybe the hardest one to implement, but doesn't seem totally complicated, is as soon as the 5th player is eliminated, a 30-second clock comes on, and you have 30 seconds to hit the buzzer.
Yes, and that's kind of Jason's idea, right? Jason's been throwing that solution around, and it works, right? But the problem is it's not easily scalable, right? So this problem isn't a problem unique just to Pro Division, and obviously that's what we're trying to fix on this call because that's who we are. But really, I mean, this is going to trickle down everywhere. Once people realize that you're better off not taking the field after you lose 1 point, right? That's going to create just a trickle. I mean, World Cup, I might have 700 games that go that way. You know what I mean? And that's not fun.
It keeps the schedule moving.
It does keep the schedule moving, and it gets really efficient the next event when no one comes back. I mean, because in the end, they want to play, right? People come to play paintball. They don't just come to win paintball, right? And I know it's a hard line, but there is a line there. So, and to have that 30-second clock, and also, and we had that rule in the UWL. It's funny you mentioned that rule in the UWL, and the amount of times that I screwed that up is incalculable. You know what I mean?
Little different though. I mean, you're
trying to little different. You're going to definitely have it on the divisional field where there's a guy in a snake and one of the referees thinks everybody's dead and he starts that clock and he tells the guys whatever. I did think that we could add. Kevin came up with this idea, which is basically like once everyone's dead and the referee and we feel like the players know everyone's dead, right? Obviously, there's some subjectiveness, right? Instead of when everybody's dead, but when you guys start talking about everybody being dead and you're doing that little walk that you do, that means I'm just going to lollygag, which drives me batty. One of the referee at the flag station just holds up both hands and starts counting down to 10, and you have 10 seconds to hit the buzzer.
I already don't like that though, Tom, because people are just going to game that. Once you understand that that's what's going to happen, people are just going to game it.
When you realize that you should know, how's that?
That's too subjective.
Yeah.
Like, why not just let the head ref who's standing on a thing? I mean, one person should be allowed to do it. We have video, and
what about the times when you don't know that everybody's dead?
Well, I understand the scale.
A one-on-one, and there's.
Yeah. I thought of this, dude. Tom, trust me, that was my biggest argument against a shot clock for so long because of the 1 in 500 chance where there's one body left alive and the other team doesn't know it, right? And they think it's kill 5. And they go down the field and the one body pulls off a 1-on-2. You know what, Tom? Who cares? Honestly, who cares? Like that, the benefit of that just is not worth.
Well, under the new system, though, there's no reason for the other team not to concede.
If you're up points. Yeah, like if I'm up points and I'm the one, right? Or even
if you're up points, the guy isn't lollygagging. If you're up points, that guy's got to hit the buzzer.
No, he could be going slow. If it's early in the match, if it's like the second point in the match, they're not going to be racing to hit the buzzer. So if there's not a clock that comes on immediately and tells me there's no one alive, I'm going to be like, okay, there's still someone out there. So there is a strategic advantage still, no matter what. And I've really thought about this quite a bit. I just think, again, it's who cares? It's like for the overall improvement it would have on the game, I think far outweighs those few moments where a player that's down bodies has an advantage. Like,
I don't disagree. I just, the logistics side is the part that I'm most challenged with, right?
Yeah, scaling it. Yeah.
For the divisional fields, for sure. But again, Tom, I'm going to push back on that too, because it's okay for us to have different rules on the pro field than the other fields. I understand you want to make the other fields faster too and more fun for the customer.
Maybe it's a twofold thing. Maybe the points for thing is one.
Yeah, totally.
Also the shot clock, right?
Totally.
Because the points for would fix it on the divisional side.
Right. Yeah, it would help.
And really, what we're just trying to fix is super slow points over there. So maybe that's an option.
Yeah, because again, we also have to be concerned with the webcast and the production and the viewership. You know, that's a reality.
Unforeseen benefit the UFC guys pointed out of Split Deck, right? Because no one would have watched the Uprising game at that point, right? They would have just tuned out, right?
Oh, stop! Are we really talking about benefits of Split Deck? I'm going to run away.
That was the unforeseen benefit of Split Deck.
That's optimism
had to
right
stay
there.
To watch Dynasty.
That's optimism right there. Good job, Brett. Brett's being fully optimistic.
You got to give it was actually Mike, but you got to give me we got optimism over here. You got to give me.
I love that. I love that.
Benefits of Split Deck. I thought I would never hear those words.
Unforeseen benefits. Unforeseen that we didn't know about.
Nice.
I love it.
Nice.
Yeah, man. It's definitely not an easy task, but at the end of the day, I know, Tom, that you and everybody, and especially Mike, Brett, everyone behind the scenes, working their asses off on this. They want to make sure it's the most entertaining show they can possibly give the people. And it has been a lot of fun to watch the progression. And we're still like, we're baseball in the 1920s. You know what I mean? We're like, all right, you know, we're figuring it all out. We're still figuring everything out. And that's a fun journey to be a part of as well, to be able to have our fingerprints on, you know, the history of this game.
Fun and stressful. I don't want fingerprints on a burger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Burgers are much more friendly.
We got a
for
problem.
sure.
We could remove my fingerprints from it.
Burgers are more friendly.
I think you said murder. Did you say murder or burgers?
Oh, murder. Yeah. Yeah.
The murder burger.
Definitely.
You don't want a murder burger.
Yeah.
No,
you don't want prints on the burger.
I mean, I think everything on the thing is a positive. I mean, this has been our best weather season ever, right? And we put a lot of thought into that this year, right? So, you know, our primary goal was to pick good weather.
We still have one more big time, and you threw that out there.
What's that?
We still have one more big one, and you threw that out there.
We have one more big one. Yes, we do. Yes, good point. I shouldn't jinx myself.
Sheesh.
Should not jinx myself. Damn it.
But you are right. It's been amazing, and it's going to continue to be amazing. I think, yeah, the slots you guys have chosen have been much better.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess to kind of round out the conversation, there's some good ideas that were tossed around there. I've also thought about maybe even with the points scored, like if it's in a minute or 30 seconds, or maybe adding like 2 points where you can get, you know, double points for applying pressure to the field. That could also incentivize people to have more fast-paced movement and really press towards the buzzer. Obviously, that changes the gameplay quite a bit, but it does incentivize movement, which I think was the conversation at hand that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, everybody enjoys playing paintball that moves too, right? I mean,
that's the best. That's the best time.
What do? I go and I sit behind the wedge and I shoot 8 pods at nothing, hoping someone walks through it, and then I go home.
Yeah. The movement is the fun part about this whole thing.
Part of paintball, right? So obviously, and so we've got to, you know, like if we want behavior, we've got to incentivize that behavior, right?
Exactly. That's right.
We have to find a way to incentivize that behavior without somehow irritating Marcelo, you know, the nuances of the game. So it's a challenge. Sorry,
but
Marcelo.
look, you even had it's fine. I'm happy to be the paintball purist, but again, that's why I say even I am like, look, you know,
it was the most amount of text I've ever received on a Sunday ever from people. Right, that you were like the 10th text, Marcelo. That's why you got. I guess you got like one word answer or whatever.
I got one. I got the everything's fine from your girlfriend answer.
I was like,
that's what I got. I was like,
I was already mad. I mean, and then Impact went and did it like the second day. Yeah. And I learned my lesson about going into the pits and yelling at everybody from the uprising thing. So, but yes, I was mad at Impact too.
Yeah, you can't be mad at teams that are playing strategy.
I can be mad.
You know?
I can be mad.
Yeah, he can do it. And honestly, Tom, it's not fun for me as a player either. That's not like how I want to play paintball. That's not even every time I run up to the buzzer and I'm like, yeah, can I get it? Can I get it? You know, and
I mean, like, there's no rule we're going to put in place ever that says if you don't want to play and you want to make it boring, you can't make it boring, right? And so the theory is always that we have mutual combatants, right? Everybody is trying to win at all times, right? And that's part of the challenge of pool play, right? Is trying to win doesn't necessarily mean in that game, right?
So also, I will say it's not fair to the refs either, having to cook out there. It's not fair to the other team that's having to wait 12 minutes. You know, there's a couple.
Refs love it actually because they actually get less time on the field. Yeah, because the games go quicker and then they have a 20-minute break. So, I think the refs actually like it.
It's also that's one of the inherent problems with what the system we have now that I didn't realize really till the ESPN show. So we had 2 problems. So I think in Cincinnati, it became glaring obvious that when these low point scoring things happen, the matches are a lot quicker. So we end up with a lot of downtime. So it's just not very efficient. You know what I mean? You guys are playing less paintball, and then we are off schedule
more breaks
because we don't play the next game. So everybody's sitting around for 20 minutes to wait for the next match. We couldn't have that on TV. So we need a more defined time of how long a match is going to be. So
Well, let's talk about some more ideas, because I think also like 3 periods or 4 quarters is also a way to change that. I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
helps in some. You're not going to
Well,
have an 8-minute point.
so yeah, but the problem is you might end up with a lot of no points. So
Yeah,
in my
agreed.
opinion, if you're going to do a shorter point system, just look at the half times we've added, right? Look at how long that last point is before halftime and how many times they score in a short period. So much that it baffles me, but obviously they're gaming the system in some way. It's almost like there needs to be like this whole thing. I always want some type of advantage to be at the 50. And if you're going to have shorter game points, you almost have to have an easier objective that's worth less points. Like what Tyler said, where maybe the 50 is worth 1 point, but then the base is worth 5, so that if you end up with if Axel ends up at the 50 with that 1 point, someone's going to have to come get him out of there. They're going to lose that point, but and maybe they wouldn't. But you need something a little more dynamic. But I currently like running clock. That's my new pet project. I think a running clock gets you rid of split deck. So if we said the matches were 30 minutes running clock with a halftime and 2 minutes, I'm making this part up, but 2 minutes between points.
Yeah.
You would still have 15 minutes of paintball time roughly. And you wouldn't have to have split deck. So you would basically play a 30-minute match and it could be less time between points, but I'm just going safe there because we aired so wrong the other time.
How much time in between points did you say?
Let's say 2 minutes. I think you can get away with a minute and a half. We did 30 seconds at the ESPN, and it was way too fast.
Oh my God, that was crazy. But it was.
But if you did a minute, right, or 2 minutes, and so then what I would do is I would give everybody I've thought this out here a little bit. So we give everybody a timeout, which is also your challenge, right? So instead of Jason doing arbitrary challenges, right, with whoever bitches the most, then we would do a challenge. So there would only be each team would get one challenge a match, and that would also be their timeout. We do a little halftime to give you guys a chance to realign and do whatever. And we just do a running clock. So there'd be no split deck, which is your dream. I would get a defined exact amount of time. So you would play for 30 minutes. And in reality, right now, you guys play for an hour. Yeah. Right. You have 4 15-minute matches, right? Is that an hour? Yeah. You play for an hour, but you're on site for 4 hours, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
So you're on site for 4 hours to play an hour. This way, you'd only be on site for an hour to play for an hour.
I love this idea, Tom. What do you do towards the end of a match if the point starts and ends in the last minute and a half, right? So say there's 90 seconds left.
So we'd have to come up with something, and I wouldn't want to do as far as minute and a half, and that's where the nuances come in. You'd have to start stopping the clock at some point.
Yeah.
Right. And so we'd have to look at that. That's a detail. But
I love that idea, Tom. I really do.
So many pluses to running clock. Plus, it's traditional, right? So right now, everyone has a stopwatch, right? Like you just put a big stopwatch up at your park. Because that's another thing I always think about. In order for us to really grow, it has got to be accessible, right? If you look at soccer and all those sports, right, it's almost the exact same when they play pro as when they play in their backyard. So we've made it so that these parks have to spend a significant amount of money to kind of keep up with us, to make it harder to enter. There's definitely less parks running tournaments now than there ever has. And I hear it from them that they're like, it's just hard to run. Scoreboards are a nightmare, right? It's a true challenge. Split deck is a challenge to any scoreboard. It's a challenge to spectators. Plus the running clock, the other advantage it would have is if we gave longer time between points, then the commentators would know how long the points they had to do something.
Correct. Yes. Right now they're guessing. They don't know exactly.
And it can even be segmented. It can even be like after 3 points, we always do a 3-minute or whatever. You know what I mean? Something along those lines. So it's got a lot of pluses. I'm mad we never thought of this before. So it's something we need to vet. So
yeah, I love that, man. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, I do too. So the ideas that I love the most, I think it is a mix of all of them. I think a running clock is amazing. Absolutely love that idea. I really think a 30-second shot clock should come on when the 5th person is eliminated from a team. I also love the tiebreaker being points scored rather than, margin. I think with those 3 changes and removing some of the beams, I think you would have very exciting play. Very exciting play.
So and I got a question for the group, right? Everybody can chime in down below.
Is
there a certain thing in a layout that you feel leads to, is there a rule, right? Is there a guide that says, if you have, and I'm just going to go with the one thing that I understand, like a traditional 7-man snake, right? Where you have a back guy in line with your front guy, and all the snake beams are in line, right? So basically, you're trying to win that wire, right? That was the traditional NPPL snake, right?
Mhm.
And when we varied from that, people get mad, and it's still the snake that we play at an ICPL hydro field, right? Would always have that traditional snake, right? Does that lead? Because I got a lot of complaints this weekend that because the 50 was out wider than everything else, it was easy to just bitch up at the 40 and just aim at that corner. I watched a guy just tuck in and just aim at that spot.
Exactly.
And so that's challenging. So
yes,
is there a certain rule that we can say that, like, if this happens, because even the asymmetrical layouts, there were some people that said that that's always going to be bad. But one of the asymmetrical layouts we did had a pretty high point scoring, right? And maybe that's just because
you're talking about the Dallas one, right? That was a blind layout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, it was blind, so people were like, and it was a minor event.
More points.
And it was it was a minor event, so it also just didn't really carry the weight of the majors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, you just sold the blind layout, March. There it is.
Yeah, it's gotta be on the blind.
I don't believe blind will be fast if you do it for the like major events. I don't think it will be.
Yeah, I mean, I think
because again, it's guessing. So it's Tom, real quick. It's the same reason. Like when you can't see down the line, you're guessing. Pro players do not want to guess. When you're guessing, you're gonna slow down because you don't want to make the mistake. Pro players speed the game up when they have the information. They solve the equation. They say, okay, we got to put this person in, make this move, get to this spot, get that kill. That's how pro players process the game. When you're guessing, it makes it really difficult. When you can't see if a player's in snake 1 or snake 5, because there's beams that go from the start station all the way to the 50, you're guessing. And so you're not going to want to go into those guns. What speeds games up is having either a snake or Dorito side that is hard to get to, but very rewarding. Once you do get there, you are rewarded because then you see teams, they set up really creative things to risk getting there early. And if they can get an elimination from the other team and make it there early, you see quick points. Every so often, you'll see a long point, but you see way less long points when it's hard to get to the spots that are rewarding. When it's easy to get there on both sides get there, and then it's by nature not very rewarding because you're both there. Right. So you're not getting an advantage. Both teams have that advantage. But when it's hard to get to one of these spots, that's what makes exciting, good paintball.
Well, even in the OG days, let's call them, back in the day, there were certain spots at the 50 that were really difficult to get to. There was big gaps, and you would have to put together some pretty intricate team play in order to cross that gap or get the key elimination that you need to get into that spot. And just for example, at the last event that we just played in Texas, there was no reason to go to the Dorito 50. You're almost on a platter if you got to the Dorito 50, because I mean, a high percentage of times they're going to get into they're going to hear that spot's hot, go to the snake spot to shoot it, and just pop up. You're done. So there was it was almost better to hang back on the last field that we played because of that particular situation. And I honestly, I don't know how Jason does it. I rack my brain about how difficult it would be to have to create these things and make everyone happy on these layouts, because it's such a challenging job. It really is. It's not impossible, but it is challenging. And I think that what we're talking about here is very important, is that, like you said, Tom, there are key details such as having the 50 outset a little bit, like how we had the snake that slows that down. And then also having it to where when I get to a 50, I'm on a platter. Like the last one, there was no reason.
And there's no one to really shoot if they know you're there.
Also, also coupled by the fact
side, I watched guys get into their 40 of the snake and still have high bodies alive on both teams. You know what I mean? It was like, normally when you get to their side of the snake, something needs to be happening. You know what I mean? And I saw stalemates at that point in the game.
Yeah, and it's I'm telling you, like I said, I don't know how he does it because it's such a difficult job to put these together. But I think that if we just incentivize, like we talked about, when we get to the 50, having some, I'm getting 2. If I get to the 50, I'm getting a couple. You know what I mean? And that way, that would also speed the game up, like we're talking about, as well as I know I'm getting 1 or 2 for sure if I get to that spot right there. They're in trouble, having these payouts, big payouts in those spots.
You had something, Marcella?
Yeah, I mean, again, also, it's like if you look at the design of all, and look, Jason has made some of the best, most fun layouts that I've
Straight
ever
up.
played in the last, 22 and 23. I thought they were amazing. I do think since we added the beams, they've been less fun. But I also think you don't have to change it so much every event. Like minor differences will, go a long way. But when you look at the fields, the way they've been recently, there's also like no real corner on either side that can see down the tape. It's almost like it goes from the start station and you have these alleys that go out towards the 50. And what that does is like, if you get into the 50 snake, there's no Dorito corner to shoot. There's no like big bodies to shoot on the other side of the field because all the bunkers are kind of facing, they're like angled away from you, So like little things like
so
that.
Theoretically, I'll take that from you. So theoretically, if you in a traditional NPPL style layout, if you got to the 50 on the Dorito side, you almost invariably shot snake corner out.
Correct.
Right? Which then frees up the other side to go do stuff. So I get where you're going with that because we've removed that back corner. We play it inset.
Totally. And more bunkers in the middle rather than on the tapes, more of the big bunkers in the middle. It rewards when you get wide, you have more bodies to shoot. But like on this last field, there really wasn't even a middle. So you got to the good spots and like everyone's hiding on the tapes, and they're far up on the tapes.
Well, and theoretically, at that point in time, then the back guy who's inset a little bit, he's got nowhere really to shoot but inside, which then in turn means he's not spending 50% of his time protecting the snake or 80%, which then slows up the movement through the middle, right? Because he can't even really shoot at anybody on the snake side.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of reasons, but I do think it's avoidable. I think that we can avoid these things. And the only reason I think that is because I feel like the things I've been saying about the layouts and the reason they play slow continue to happen and the fields continue to play slow, and I think, again, look, Jason has made some amazing layouts. I think he overthinks some of them, and that's really all it is. And part of that is probably because he feels pressure, like Tyler said, to like create something new and exciting every event, which is very difficult. That is a, difficult task for sure. But
so just to put it in perspective, so in, and like I said, we have all these numbers, but like,
where are these numbers?
2021, we were playing, tournaments were 9.5 points per match. Texas was less than 4.5 points per match.
Yeah.
That's a 50% decrease in points played.
Yeah. And so it was 2022 that we added the bigger bunkers, right?
Yeah. So 2022 wasn't bad. So, and the stuff does indicate what you say is correct. No, it's not. So the Lone Star Open, you scored 9 points per match. And then the Lone
What year?
2022. So that was the small event, right? Which is the one that had the split thing. But then the Sunshine Major also had 9 points per match, which was not a split thing and was also a major. So that gets rid of your open argument to some extent, right?
Wait, what do you mean? How does it get rid of my argument?
Well, you said the opens, people just played more points because it was like what didn't matter as much, whereas the first event of the season played the same amount of points.
Welcome to PTG World, the ultimate paintball community where the game never stops and the vibes are always elite. Inside our Discord chat, you'll find nonstop action in rooms like the Players Chat, Gear Talk, PB Fashion, News, the Media Gang channel, and the exclusive Guest Questions channel where you get to ask our weekly podcast guests anything you want to be answered live on the PTG show. But it does not stop there. We also host monthly Goat Squad live hangouts for our GOAT tier members, packed with giveaways, laughs, and nonstop behind-the-scenes shenanigans. It is a full hour of community fire with the most amazing people who are locked in every day for the love of the game. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned pro, PTG World is your front row seat to the pulse of paintball. Click the orange Patreon link at ptgpodcast.com and join the party. Once again, that is ptgpodcast.com. Click the orange link and we will see you in the chat.
Oh, I see.
But
you got to factor in a blind layout versus I was saying the fact that it was blind, they, kind of caution to the wind.
Yeah, so blind and whatever, they played
control.
about the same that year, right? Now, maybe it's the open, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was also blind and asymmetrical, right? So there was a lot going on there. And in a perfect world, we would do more control tests, right? Let's just say, like, if we did a blind layout in a major and then a blind layout in a non-major, right? What would be the, there'd be
Exactly.
a better control.
You can't
there,
have
right
willy-nilly
now.
science.
Yeah,
Tom.
willy-nilly science.
Willy-nilly science over here.
But at least I do have 10 years of data, so some of it's getting less willy-nilly. But yes, I do agree. Without controls, it's just a hypothesis, right? But at least it's a more educated hypothesis than just saying, whatever.
Certainly.
So, but I mean, there's no question that there's a problem, right? Our last two events. So of our 100 events that we've ran, or whatever it's been since we started, two of the top slowest matches ever have been our last two matches. So 1 and 2. One was 4.3 points per match, and the other one was 4.8, which was the Lone Star.
Mm-hmm.
So we obviously have a problem. We have a fox in the hen house. We have something going bad.
I really think that look, there's at first in 2022 and 2023, it was kind of like we were playing with fire, adding all the big bunkers, and most of the time Jason did a good job, but I think there were a couple layouts where I was like, man, just too much is blocked out, and it was still really easy to get to the 50-yard line, and basically like, without much reward, both teams would be there and it would kind of slow down. But then once we also added the beams, it just made it so difficult to really see anything on the field. And again, when you're guessing out there, it's going to be a problem. It's going to slow teams down, period. Like when you can't see where your opponents are, you're not just going to make moves. You're not just going to blindly, go and try to do something.
And the other number we track is how long, average points, how many minutes per point, So we were at 3.5 minutes per point at Lone Star, and at World Cup 2020, we were 1.5 minutes, right? So that's all telling, right?
Yeah.
If we need to do this by team, so I can find out who's dragging my averages down. But but like the Russians, like once again, the Russians believe in they believe in turning and burning, right? So I think that's neat. But keep in mind, points scored is also not the only metric, right? I wouldn't be happy if everybody was conceding as soon as they lost a body. So that would also be a negative.
Well, I don't know that you would. I mean, because you still obviously you want to win the match first and foremost.
For a while there, I felt like Impact definitely conceded fast for a time frame as a philosophy. So whereas I watched AC Diesel, like I was like, why are you not hitting the buzzer? Why are you not hitting the buzzer? And then they came back and won that point, and I was like, all right, good job, Greg Bully. Touche. All right, what questions you got from Discord?
Okay, yeah, we got some good ones. I actually just pulled it up too, so I will hit us one right here from JStew704. He wants to know, so with the Atlantic City venue no longer existing, and I don't know if this has been confirmed, but this has been rumors. So with the Atlantic City venue no longer existing, allegedly, what are plans for the location of that event?
Good question. So one, I have not been told that Atlantic City does not exist, but as of right now, we are planning on moving that event to potentially Dover. So we have a couple of venue options in the Mid-Atlantic. We could go back to Royersford. I'm a little concerned about Royersford because of the time of year, the weather. That parking lot would be bad, and the fields would get bad in the mud. But we have a good option in Dover, Delaware, which is a similar distance from Philly as Atlantic City, but also a little closer to BWI Airport. But it's a really nice venue.
Okay, so that venue is not happening then. So that is
correct. We don't know that. I'm just giving you the other options we have if Atlantic City doesn't happen.
Because they're building a Formula One something there. Is that right?
That's been rumored for years. I don't believe that deal's done. Wow. And I deal with Atlantic City. To do our little event is a nightmare. I can't imagine what building something permanent would do.
I mean, I love that venue. Just having the concrete everywhere is really nice.
A lot of people don't like that venue, but I do think from a safety point of view, from having an event be successful, it's our best May event, right? Because it's going to rain in April, May, right?
Yeah.
That's April showers bring May
Not
flowers,
in California. Right? You'll be fine out here, but you guys don't like coming out here.
Yeah, we ain't coming out there.
Phoenix, going to Tyler's hometown. I mean,
we looked at Phoenix. We looked at Phoenix this year.
Not an option.
There's a lot of good paintball out here.
Not an option. Vegas, Phoenix. Can the listeners write that off?
I would say we're not going to have Vegas for sure.
Okay.
And I would say pretty good chance against Phoenix this year, potentially next year.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah, Phoenix. Nice. It's hot in the summer. Just don't come in the summer and any other time.
Second event.
Yeah.
Second event is what Phoenix would be.
Yeah, that time
we
frame.
also had, I mean, arguably our best grass this year too, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
the first
The
event
grass
had
has
great
been
grass.
amazing. Yeah.
Second event was questionable, right? That was probably our worst grass. It's hard to grow grass with fringes. And sorry, I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. And then Cincinnati had good grass, Texas had good grass, and World
Yep.
Cup is World Cup, right? So
Yes, sir.
and I drove past
Grass
there the other day,
nice.
and it's got really good grass this year for what? Sure.
Let's go. All right, we got Mr. Fab in the house. Shout out to the Discord members. If you want to join, go to the website, ptgpodcast.com. Join us in the Patreon. You get access to the Discord through there. What are the chances we change to a yellow shell used during the ESPN 3v3 for 2026? It was so much better on camera. What will be this year's World Cup exhibition match, if we're going to have one at all?
So we'll know more after today. I have some meetings today to kind of clarify that. Most likely be a 3-man derivative. We can get into the 3-man questions here in a second. But
Okay.
the yellow's an option. We will explore that.
Yeah,
I think yellow looks amazing. I think it looks so much better than the pink. The
Okay.
3v3 really, really highlighted that. Like that was honestly one of the like coolest things from the 3v3. There was a lot of cool things, but the paint, just that color, it signals something in your brain that this is professional. You see it in tennis and it's that neon green it looks really good.
Okay.
Even tennis, they did a lot of research already on this, and they used a white paintball. They used colored, sorry, not
Tennis.
a paintball, tennis ball. They used a white tennis ball. They used colored tennis balls, and they found that for tracking the ball, that neon yellow was the best ball that they found for professional tennis. And they did a bunch of research on that, and that was their final
That's a
ball.
good call. I'll look into that. It's funny how their first choice was their best choice, right? Because that's what a tennis ball has always been, right?
No,
well, they used to be white.
It was white. Yeah, it used to be
got
white. Tom, we've talked about this before. When we first pitched changing the paint color to you to green, and then you guys came back and were like, all right, we're doing it. You guys had good ideas. We're going pink. We're like, no.
You pitched neon green. I just blot out other people's good ideas, Marcelo.
Yes. I mean, we weren't the only ones. I think everyone was saying neon green, and then you guys were like pink.
Well, also, it's not just that, but the research that's been done, they've done extensive research on it.
Yeah, I would like to read that. That's good stuff. Good
job,
what I heard,
Tyler win.
What I heard though, Tom, is that you guys actually did do research, and the reason you chose pink was because I think Cena had already done.
Yeah, I believe so. Some film people had suggested that.
Correct. Yeah, that is why you guys went with pink. It wasn't, again, you guys weren't just like, oh, let's just go pink. It was recommended by but I think the green looks just so much better. Whatever.
Neon yellow you're talking about, right? So
neon yellow. Yeah, neon yellow. Tomato.
Yeah, the professionalism. And for everybody who's not on the YouTube, come check out the YouTube. Go to Play the Game Podcast YouTube channel. Tommy Cole has the field that we played on in Florida at ESPN in the background there. And then he's actually sitting in the stands right now having this conversation with us. So he's got it all set up right here.
Yeah. All right. We got Verbal. He wants to know, Tom, can we please get longer end zones on the pro field? Atlantic City shows the materials are available to make them longer, and Audubon Park in Garland definitely had the space to give us quite a bit more room on the back lines. It really is the only way to show off the game properly. This is coming from Verbal, one of the absolute top creators in the game.
We love Verbal. To be honest with you, I don't have a good reason why we didn't do it, Texas. I will check with my guys and see why we wouldn't do that.
Okay. Awesome.
So Verbal,
I know
this is what you long layouts.
Yeah, there we go.
Verbal, send me the dimensions that you think would be survivable and what would be optimal. Yeah,
because it has to make sense, obviously, for the venue and making sure that it's all laid out properly. But I know the camera guys, they would love that, man. It helps them out a lot. They don't get shot up as much, and the angles are really nice.
Well, it's the same thing. We brought in an expert from NASCAR, and he had basically said that we needed to shoot from further away to kind of show the balls going in and stuff. And it'd be really good with that traditional NPL snake, right? Because he could show the back guy, shoot at the front guy all the way.
Yep.
Keep it tradish.
Keep it tradish. It is funny, though, when people online, they just love a traditional layout. You could drop the same Huntington Beach 2003 layout, and people are like, innovation.
It's fun to play.
They love that traditional layout.
It's fun to play.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got quite a few in here. Thank you everybody for showing up. We got Did It Hurt, Mark Paris. Let's go with Mark Paris. Tom, for all the free press PTG gives the MLPB, do you think we can get an old bunker out there on the pro field at some point? Little PTG bunker. Let's go,
Well, if they're
baby.
getting all the press already, I mean, if people are watching them, maybe it's going the other way.
Actually, the people also want to know, how much does it cost to get a bunker if they wanted to have their company be a part of the paintball scene and to have a bunker with their sponsorship on there?
I don't have that price off the top of my head, so I don't want to give it, but they can just email me, tom@majorleaguepb.com, and I'll be dying to give them the price.
There we go. You heard it here. So if you want to get some advertising going for your company, email Tom. He'll get.
Can we talk Buck Stadium? Can we talk about the Buck Stadium thing?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Yes.
What do we got going on at Bucks?
Usually I'm the one not leaking this stuff.
Yeah.
This big news.
So it looks like
we're going to be in there.
Huh? We will be in.
Are we going in?
Right. So this is the plan. So we are going to play in Buck Stadium. Right now, tentatively, we would run the 3v3 in the morning. We have some changes we want to do to the 3v3 for next year. We don't want to get into all that right now, but so we're on the 3v3 in the morning, so that would end like at 5. And then the key part of that is we would take the best matches of a traditional Saturday, right? So typically 1 plays 8, whatever, because it's a draw. But basically 1 is playing 8 and 2 is playing 4, whatever, those good games. We would move those to Thursday night. So between, let's call it 5 and 7, I'm making these times up because we got to get more detailed, but between 5 and 7, we would play the top 4 matches of the event would be before the finals would be played Thursday night. And so in a perfect world, that'd be Thursday Night Lights. Take that from Paintball Fit. I think they're the ones that coined that for me, but Thursday Night Lights. And that would be how we started the season every year. So we would bring it. We're literally with the Jumbotron and everything. You guys would be playing in the stadium, both for the 3-man and traditional X-Ball.
Cool. Damn, that's amazing, Tom.
Thank you.
That
I
is
just being there. I can just imagine what here and then, being in a NFL stadium and having the national anthem sung right there. You know what I mean? Would be pretty epic to start the season. So.
Like I said, we're going to start packing these stands out too. Get ready.
We will start packing these stands. And we were amazed at how many people came to the ESPN show. So shout out to all those people that came. Yeah. I think we had 350 people there for a 1-hour match. It wasn't even an hour. It was 30 minutes. Or it was an hour. I think it was an hour. So, but that was a lot of people that came out for that. So I think Buck Stadium, with all the industry being there and all that kind of stuff, and everybody there, and it's the only games going on, I think we'll have a lot of spectators. I think it'd be cool. And I think it hopefully is something we can do forever, right? So.
Yeah, very
cool. We got to strike while it's hot, man. Yeah. Amazing, Tom. And even the event being at these stadiums is such a great look. All the photographs, having the stadium there and making these connections has been tremendous. So hats off to everyone that's bringing all this to life. You guys are working your butts off you just got us sitting inside of a big ass stadium. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, it's all steps, right? So we literally took the pictures from the ESPN show and sent it to Tampa and said, would you like to be the home of the first, professional paintball tournament in the stadium? And they were like, yes, absolutely. So it's all those steps, right? And I tell everybody this. So I went to Dallas Cowboys Stadium a while ago to watch Nerf run an event inside of there.
That's right.
Cousins Paintball. They're the ones that got me to go to that. But anyhow, I went to the stadium and was kind of like watching how they were doing it and running the event. And of course, obviously, it's a dream of mine to be playing in Dallas Cowboy Stadium. How cool would that be, right? So on everybody's bucket list. And I'm not going to get the quarterback job, so maybe I can give you guys the job as the back guys. One of the executives there had talked to me about it. We were like throwing around, and he's like, what do you do? And I was like, I run a professional paintball league. And he's like, why don't you guys host an event here? And I was like, you guys don't want us. We would destroy this place. And literally every year after that, he has sent me an email just like, are you ready yet? You want to swing by, look at it, see what we can do. And I've literally been like, I'm not ready to pull this off. This would be a scary move. But after ESPN and after that thing, I feel more comfortable exploring these options. So,
damn, Tom, That is major. That's major news for the paintball world right there. And I know that the local communities, and that's what it's all about, is getting these local communities to participate and become excited about going to a paintball match. And I know if they heard that's coming to town, we're going to get quite a few people that are going to show up and watch.
It definitely is a check mark in the legitimacy, right? Come watch me play in a cow pasture somewhere outside of somewhere, or no, we'll be in the Buck Stadium. That's definitely a difference. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
A little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit different.
And why can't our finals on Sunday be in there? Like, what do they need the stadium for on Sunday?
Oh, wow. They probably got stuff going on, don't they? In the long run, maybe it is an option, but right now it's not an option.
Yeah, and if you can see,
they're bringing in something that weekend. So we are lucky. One of the reasons we're getting to use it is because they're between transformations of the stadium, right? So so that's that's why the timing was right to hit that.
Nice.
Yeah, and if you look at the YouTube again, you can see behind, and obviously we have like these lifts that are having the nets way higher than they normally are, but it was a tremendous development at the ESPN.
And the limited paint, right? Limited paint helps a lot too, right?
That's right.
Because it's just less shooting, less balls in the air, less balls on the ground. Like all of that significantly decreases the amount of time it takes to clean stuff.
Yeah, people wanted a little bit slower game, and I think if we added some pins, like because in the off the break, you could just see your opponent immediately. So if you had like a pin that you could kind of like dance behind and hide behind and play this cat and mouse game, I think you would get a little bit more survivability.
I think ideally we would have made the field longer as well. We would make it. I mean, that is one of the things that we have found is actually the 5-man field size and layouts play well for the 3-man, right? Because it just gives it a lot of options. A lot of people like the Rage in the Cage type stuff where it was just like 9 bunkers and everybody shooting each other off break, or even this was a little too fast paced. So I think the traditional size is pretty good, right? It gives you a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah.
There's always a hole. There's always multiple holes, so there's always opportunity.
Yeah. If you're looking inside, the guy come around the outside. I mean, it's just, and it also makes you go first, right? Because who wants to get stuck?
Right.
Everybody wants to be the sticker. So, so yeah.
Yeah. I like it, Tom. Nice. Man. Are there any potential changes for World Cup that we've talked about? Is there any chance of implementing some of this?
I'm an anti-rule changer guy, right? Mid-season. Pretty adamant that. Ryan has warned me out about that several times when I've even pitched something. But I wouldn't be afraid to send out the points out to everybody. And it'd almost take a unanimous vote to go to it. Because if you think about it, right, like people play a certain way. Like, let's just use Uprising, right? Uprising did very well under that type of system. And you don't want to change something mid-season, right, to kind of like, favor the faster teams or whatever we got going on. It looks bad. Kind of looks bad, like we're manipulating the season final type of deal.
I get it. I get how it looks, but that's not the reality. We're just trying to make the game better and more exciting. We got a tight window.
Unanimous for it, I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
So
well, definitely be on the lookout for some big changes for 2026. It sounds like we're going to have some new adaptations to the game that are going to be implemented. And I gotta ask, did it hurt's question from the Discord, because otherwise he will probably try to hurt me. Tom, I asked Euro players what they would like to see change in the MLPB. Their response was they would like to see, well, this wouldn't be MLPB, this would be more NXL Europe. They would like to see more American teams come play in the NXL Europe, but it is prohibited. So he said, what's the deal on that?
Was this a European person asking me this?
No, it's not. It's an American person. But
okay,
the
Europeans are going to tell you they want to do that, but they don't really want to do that. And so that's the reason.
Huh.
Yeah. Even what if you did?
No one agrees with me on this, but it's the hill I'm willing to die on. So,
dude, I just wish it was
more blended tournaments. I would do that, but having American teams play twice as much, right? It comes down to a financial game at that point in time, right? If you're a rich team, you play both leagues and getting, if you play 10 big tournaments a year as opposed to 5 big tournaments, you're just going to be bigger. It decreases the sponsorship for European teams. It's bad for the European market. It's good for the Americans. So,
but also, real quick, just to be clear on this, American teams can go play Euro events. It's just
they can.
pro. It's just pro.
No.
That's right.
American teams can go play. They just can't play in the U.S. So Dynasty
Well,
could say,
yeah.
I want to go play. I mean, we
Obviously.
have Afshock played over there for a year. And Mark Franz's team played over there for a year, right?
Mhm.
You can play. You just can't play pro in the U.S. So you just have to pick one or the other.
It's understandable, and I totally get what you're saying with the bullet points that you made as well, Tom. That makes complete sense. I would just like to see maybe instead of one pro player, make it two, so that you can have like a travel buddy and you can, be traveling. And is it over? It's done.
Over,
it's done.
dude.
You're not getting that.
It's over.
And I get the travel buddy, right? So let's think of how that affects
man.
people.
But also, hold on, I'm not done. Also, you get 50% more, maybe top pros that are out there mingling and a part of the community and helping out. I don't know.
Top pros are not European. Let's go with that first insult. So
wait, what do you mean?
I mean, it just no. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Who won that men's championship this year? Who won that?
Oh, shit.
They got us. They got us. They got us.
I don't know. It looked to me like it was the French team out there holding up that
I got to
trophy.
bring that up. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Don't even.
I would say the European. I mean, Axel's European. Is Axel not good?
Axel is European. He's
Dude,
great.
Axel's one of the best players in the world. Fedorov.
Okay.
There's so many top tier pros that are European, and I'm not trying to discredit that. I'm just saying I think that it is also fun for that adventure to come.
For 10 Americans to get to take their friend to go to Europe on someone else's dime and play paintball. Yes. There's no arguing that at all. But it's a lot less fun for that person on that team that just got benched. So just imagine that for growing the game, right? So you have a team of 8 guys, and we show up for practice every weekend. We're a team, we're a family, we're all that stuff until Marcelo and Tyler show up, and then now we're gonna pay for them to fly over. They're going to come and they're going to tell us what to do, right? Because you guys are not silent when you guys come over and do stuff.
Yeah, Tom. And then that kid that gets put on the bench becomes more inspired than ever before, ends up being like an Axel.
Perfect theory if the math worked out, but the math didn't work out. We had less Europeans playing before, less Europeans playing in the finals, less Europeans doing everything.
Tom, you're counting COVID. That's like so crazy to count like the decline.
20 years before that.
NXL Europe is not bigger right now than Millennium was in 2018 when NXL bought Millennium.
But it has more Europeans playing in it.
Huh?
It has more Europeans.
No, it does not. Tom, you're conflating
party if
you're conflating Tom. No. You're conflating the Nations Cup.
No,
that is you are.
Just look in the pro division. So in the Millennium, there was 16 pro teams, right? How many of them were American?
2,
there was
3, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say
4. I'm counting that team from New Zealand with the 5 Dynasty guys. One is American.
That team is not American, and there was only 4 Dynasty guys.
Okay, so
they had a New Zealand guy on the team.
So
and they were semi-pro.
3. That means there was 11 European teams that probably had some Americans guesting for them, right? So 11 times 8 is 88 pro players in Europe. Now
but Tom,
20 pro teams.
Tom, you're talking about the pro division, so I'm talking about as a whole. So what about all the divisional players? I thought those were the most important ones. We usually
Paris was the largest European event ever.
Again, we're conflating Nations Cup though. Nations Cup brings so many players.
You're not counting the Nations Cup in the Millennium's number?
No,
it's European.
Absolutely, they did the Nations Cup during the Millenniums.
No, they did, but it's much bigger now. Much bigger now. The Nations Cup has blown up since COVID. You can make a bunch of different arguments as to why that is. Oh, for sure.
No,
for sure.
The European paintball is definitely strong right now, but it was hurting. It was hurting for a bit there.
Tom, the proof of that is that you guys look at the first 2 events. There's a reason there's only 3 NXL Europe events a year, and there's a reason the first 2 are incredibly small with literally 2 fields. No Millennium ever had only 2 fields.
That's not true, though. You're mistaken here.
How am I mistaken?
They only have 2 fields is because that's all the fields they have. We can go.
Yeah, that's also the only divisions you have.
Correct. So we sell out every time. That's a business decision, not necessarily a whatever decision. It would cost too much money to go back to where we were because you're bigger than COVID.
I don't really care to argue about the reason, but I don't think we can say that more Europeans are competing when they're not. like maybe in the pro division, but there's not more European divisional players
more
competing
Europeans
than there
played
used to
during
be.
the championship this year than have ever played before.
Yes, because again, Nations Cup. I mean, we had literally 50 Americans over there for Nations Cup. So when you're looking at just player numbers, like there were literally 50 American players that since they're there, they also play in the
Nations
regular.
Cup out, and I run that same number for you. Still going to be more Europeans.
No. Again, those players would not be there. What I'm saying is all these, like Miko came over with a Finnish team. Shiloh comes over with his Brazilian team. America brought 50 players, 40 of which went and played in the regular tournament with whether it was teams that they put in or guessed with other teams.
Do you think those people would come? Most of those people would come if it wasn't tied to the European event?
No, I know they would not come, is what I'm
Correct.
saying. Yeah, if Nations Cup was not tied to the European event, they would not come. That's exactly what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying they wouldn't come for the Nations Cup. They come for the event.
I totally disagree. No. Totally disagree. Totally disagree. Ask Miko because he heads the Finnish team. Ask Shiloh. Ask Arturo. Ask Arturo. Right? Like Arturo brings all those guys for Nations Cup, and then they're there. And I'm telling you, Tom, Nations Cup has done a tremendous thing. Nations Cup has really. It's not a knock. It's actually a positive. But Nations Cup has absolutely blown up.
Here's the difference that you're seeing that you don't realize, that even I didn't realize, because we went through the numbers at this last Paris event. So the Millennium would have ran that event in 3 days. We run that event over 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So because I was confused why
more, right? Because you guys do Wednesday, Thursday, 5 days. 5 days.
So we're running it longer than they would have ran it. So they are condensing their amount of teams into a smaller amount of time. I'm not saying which side is right there, but that's why sometimes the Millennium would feel bigger on that side.
There was just more divisional teams that played more events throughout the year. I don't think anyone can argue that.
More teams, right? You look at unique teams, right? Just because Dynasty plays 3 events doesn't mean there's less players if Dynasty only plays 1 event. It's less player days, right? But if I have 100 teams play 1 event, that's the same as 300 teams of the same 100 playing the same circuit. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I think playing more paintball is playing more paintball. You know, that whether it's because again, that was the basis of this. Is
count everything together. You're like
we were saying Europeans are playing more now than before, and I just don't think
as far as European teams being healthier, I think they're healthier now than ever.
Yeah, you're talking about how much play is going on, and then he's talking about how many there are, and
and how healthy they are.
Yeah,
it's not a healthy team that needs 2 Americans to survive, right? That's not healthy.
Well, we're going to find out. Sound off in the chat. What do you guys think about everything we've talked about?
Leave it in the YouTube comments. We know Tom reads all of the YouTube comments. He's always scouring. He's always scouring.
But the breakout spot, I mean, I have high hopes for those guys. We'll see.
I mean,
absolutely. Like I said, European paintball is strong right now. It is really cool to see how skilled and just powerful.
They're training them for so long.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's right.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
We're all just going to agree to disagree on that one. So
100%. It's always that's a fun one that we could debate till the end of time.
I mean, how long did we argue last year in Paris? Like to the
point
were ready to throw us a ball.
Yeah. I appreciate your arguments though, Tom. No,
it's fun. And I like to play red team. You know what I mean? Like that's an internal term, but we use. But like, you know, I like to use red team because really, when you have to defend your stance, is really when you realize you're just digging your heels in because that's what you believe, right?
Totally.
It's good to have outside arguments. I like to argue. I have to warn people because sometimes I feel like I'm arguing both sides and they start looking at me like I'm a crazy person. But yeah.
Hey, you got to see it from all angles, man.
Yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely.
We got Bolson. He's wondering, Tom, what was your favorite Bad Company marker and why?
Oh, wow. I would say, I mean, I like the Spider Extra just because it was $79 and we were playing against Dynasty and we beat them. So that was my favorite gun. But as far as gun that worked and I loved, probably the Angel, right? We were a WDP team, so that gun worked amazing. And most people remember us because of the Spimmies, right? Because we put Intimidators in the Spider body. So that was kind of our last little bit of fame there. But we did play for 2 years, once with Spider Extras and one with AMGs. So with no changes to the insides. And we did take third at World Cup with a $100 gun.
Nice.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, the the discrepancy in like the markers was
The rate
crazy.
of
If you're
fire was
shooting a
insane. I actually think a spider would do better now in the 10.5 than it did when we were playing against Bob Long and his whatever the hell unrestricted cheater rate of fire that man was throwing at us. It's funny. Like I literally just watched us play Bob at the World Cup, and I got mad again because we got cheated. And it's like it's weird how like even 20 years later you can still be mad at someone like, well, like he shot. Where is he going? Still mad about it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
It's so funny, man. You guys, it's cool to hear these old stories because they just resonate. You know what I mean? And those guns back in the day, it was crazy. If you were playing against someone with an intimidator, let's say, and you had a spider, it's wild
That's
times out there.
Actually, one of the best improvements we've had because the equipment doesn't swing the game as much as it used to, right?
True.
I mean, it used to be, especially when new technology was invented, right? When things were upgrading, right? If you didn't spend the money on the upgrade, you were going to be at a serious disadvantage.
If you didn't have the cheater board, you were like,
if you didn't have a cheater board, right?
Probably not going to beat some of the teams.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Bring out the robot. Bring out the robot.
Yeah, bring out the robot. Yeah, can we please go to semi-automatic as well?
No.
Uncapped semi.
Come on.
No. Uncapped
if you want to
semi.
go mechanical.
No.
See,
let us rip. Let us rip.
Well, I think you can rip a mechanical now. It's crazy.
You can. Yeah, you
and
can.
if you want to rip, just go with the electronic, go up to 30 balls a second, which I'm also going to be against.
No. I think it should be a skill. I think it should be a skill, right? Like we're shooting these things, and how fast you can shoot used to be a skill in 7-man. So your back players, like if you can pull up and get a good quick burst, you're getting rewarded.
Yeah,
you
but
know, it also incentivizes
who knew will it to Dow better.
No. So look, we're in 2025 now. You're right. Back then, absolutely. We're in 2025 now. It's really easy to make sure we have league monitored boards. Virtue made this 15 years ago where everyone had to put that little chip in their board and it sent the info.
That was. I was a commissioner at the time. It was brutal. Right?
That's right.
The problem was the rule was so draconian, you got expelled, right? And I think it was Yosh. I'm going to pick on Yosh, but I think they're like, Yosh is cheating. And keep in mind, Virtue is a company that's also in the league that also has teams. And he's like, Yosh just shot 23 balls a second. I go down and look at Yosh, and Yosh is like looking at me like I'm an idiot. I'm like, that's what it said. And I had a choice of throwing Dynasty out for the tournament or just saying I don't believe the rule. And I didn't believe the system. I didn't believe that his chip was that accurate, right? So
all right.
You don't believe the system. So once again, Dynasty got away with one. I have to ask Yosh now if he was lying to me. I felt like he was not.
Damn, Tom, that's funny.
There's some history.
All right. Well, yeah. Anyway, the argument for semi-auto, it would also incentivize kids to have their markers in their hands at home at all times and be practicing. It brings back that joy of, remember we used to always hold on to it. I mean, I still have mine always set up, but it's like, should be a skill. Yeah. Anyway, on to the next. I'm not going to die on that hill. Dilly Kills wants to know, Tom, how about a day or two earlier for the 3v3 or hold off for World Cup? The teams that win seem too exhausted to compete the next 3 days consistently if they don't have big enough roster.
Great point. So the way we plan on addressing that, and we have a meeting this afternoon, but we would like to go to conferences, right? So we would have 2 winners basically, and we would have a morning and an afternoon basically. So you'd play half as many games. And you'd be done at a defined time because it is a problem, even though I will point out that the team that has won a 3-man has, well, at least the last 2, has gone on to win or play in the finals to the next one. So I do think winning begets winning. And so I think that's a good formula. I mean, Impact just won the ESPN show, and then they went on to win this one.
Yeah. Hold on. The ESPN show is a totally different.
It's a 3-man.
Yeah, I know, but the whole point of it is being exhausted.
No, I'm not saying that part. I'm saying that having 2 events in one is a good thing, but it is tiring, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we would do the conference system.
Because X Factor won the first one and they played Impact in the finals. Neither of those teams in Cincinnati made the finals in Cincinnati. The teams that made the finals are actually the 2 teams that did not play the 3-man, the Russians and Tauntauns. They didn't play their starters. Those are the teams that made the finals. And then Dynasty winning this last one, the 3-man, they definitely looked pretty exhausted
and fit afterwards. But so
and
so
fit,
that's why I want to go to the conference system. And so one of the ideas for next year was we'd have an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference, and I'll just give everybody the pitch right here at one time. So
All right.
I was trying to save something for Greenspan's show, but I guess that's over.
We love you, Tom. You know what, Tom, real quick, just another, did we let you know how much we love you on PTG?
Thank you. So what I would like to do is create a true conference system, right? Where we have Eastern and Western, right? Let's just say 10 teams and 10 teams, making these numbers up, but 10 teams and 10 teams, because we've had opportunities. So, all right, I'll go to the beginning. So you play 4 events. You still would win the events. There'd be a prize package, but a smaller prize package. And then we would do basically a Super Bowl format at World Cup, which would mean that the top 4 teams from each conference is playing a wild card round, a championship round, and then a Super Bowl, right? And then your final game would be against a team from the other conference. The other thing that enables us to do, and you'll think back to what I just said earlier about Dallas Cowboy Stadium. So what I have had opportunities through the years to play smaller events at unique venues. Yeah. So we had an opportunity, and I'm going to make up the casino, but let's say the Bellagio. One of the casinos in Vegas had said, hey, during your Vegas tournament, why don't you run an event at our casino in the outside? And I was like, no idea how I'll pull that off. No. Dallas Cowboys said, why don't you run an event in Dallas Cowboy Stadium? We had a chance to do an event at Ocean City, which is a huge beach town on the Mid-Atlantic. And they do an end-of-year concert where, like, the weekend after Labor Day, they do this big festival because they're trying to extend the summer. And they wanted us to play an event in a marquee location there, but it would be a smaller event. And then Huntington Beach, we could do some in Huntington Beach. But it is much easier for me to move a smaller circus than the large circus. So we could theoretically say the Western Conference, we're going to throw an event in Vegas on the Strip with only 10 teams playing in it, a one-day event. And we're going to throw an event in Ocean City, Maryland, a one-day event for those 10 teams, and make that more of a fan-driven type of an event, but have it still count in your rankings towards the Super Bowl. So it frees us up a little bit to explore options, right? Yeah. And I believe in the conference system, like I always have. I believe traveling is one of the big expenses that we do not need to incur, but it'd be cool. And we can even theoretically, let's use Paintball Fit. We could even theoretically run a conference event at Paintball Fit and see if people will come in and watch that as a Saturday only game, right? Yeah. So we're going to run a one-day 10-team 3-man tournament. Can we fill the stands with that drive? These are all options. And what everybody's got ideas, right? There's millions of them, right? And some of them are great. Some of them could be game-changing. Some of them could be, life-changing for our industry, right? But it is scary to try it with our core product, right? And so it gives us the ability to go do these little one-off things and kind of do some stuff, and I think it could be neat. So the conference thing would fix a problem of playing morning and afternoon, right? It would now cut your day in half, and you could schedule your day around it, and we would rotate east and west. So West Coast would be morning one weekend, it'd be morning the next weekend, yada, 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 kind of deal.
Yeah, and maybe even make it a little more cutthroat where it's like single elimination for the event before the tournament or something like that.
Play right now, so basically we would divide it up into, my idea is 3 teams. We're having a bigger meeting about it today, but divide it up into 3-team divisions, and the winner of each division moves on to a single elimination tournament. So you're guaranteed to get, because a lot of what you guys are doing is for reps on the field. Yeah. So if I guarantee you 2 games in the prelims on the field, and then you would move on to a single elimination tournament. So it cuts the amount of time in half.
That would be huge. Because getting out of there at 7 p.m. and then having an 8 a.m. game is just brutal.
Right. Brutal. Yes, I agree.
Outstanding, man. Damn, awesome. Tommy.
Yeah, I love it.
He's cooking. He's got the pots on the stove. He's whipping it up. The wrist is flicking.
This is what happens when you're home for 4 days. Get a little fired up.
Let's go.
Dude, we need to keep you home longer. Let's get you home for 4 weeks. See what happens. Shit.
Yeah. That doesn't happen. So in a week, I have a trade. We go to the trade shows for venues. I have 2 of them back to back. So
awesome.
There we go, boy.
And I'm actively searching. So this year, for the first time, I'm now searching for cool venues to do a 3v3 in, right? Because
of course,
right? We could be at, on the Strip on a Friday night potentially, or something like that.
Have you thought? Sorry, Ty.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say the ESPN in Florida really opened a lot of chambers of thought and movement and collaboration with seeing what we can do. And I know we learned so much from doing that event. and we can keep growing with it into the future here.
100%. Yeah, no, it was definitely, again, also looked really cool. It was very professional. Tom, have you thought of incentivizing the 3-man to where rather than, if there is another ESPN thing or there's another 3v3 tournament that's in a stadium, the teams selected are the
Absolutely.
teams. Okay.
So we kind of screwed X Factor, right, with that thing. And I know that's what all the fans said. But we had announced that I had told teams before that we were going by the X-Ball rankings leading into that event. So it's not like X Factor was surprised. They still lobbied me hard to make it 3-man. But since that was our first pilot 3-man, we didn't know if the best team was going to win that. As you pointed out, people didn't put in their best players. I felt it would have been unfair to put teams in based on the 3-man ranking. And we didn't know it was going to be 3-man until very close to the event. So we had already told teams that we were going to base it on the X-Ball standings as they stood. But yes, in the future, we're trying to sell 2 products right now. So we're trying to sell the 3-man to TV, and I'm trying to sell 5-man to TV, right? And instead of me trying to arbitrate which one is the right one, let them choose which one they want. And the one that they want is the one that we're going to play based upon your ranking. So right now, if Fit and Dynasty are the top 1 and 2, they'd be the ones to go play it. And X Factor is obviously high ranked in there. So right now I'm using a running total for the year. And then to start next year, there's so many things that we might try with the 3-man, like locked rosters and doing it a different way as a franchise system or whatever. There's so many opportunities over there without affecting our core product. And it's all going to be based on these rankings that we have from this year. Right. So if we decide to only go to 8 teams, it'll be the top 8. If we decide to, whatever the opportunity is.
Got it. Nice.
So and correct. Whoever asked that question, or if that was you, yes,
and
we will be doing that.
And you guys are doing 3-man at World Cup?
That is the plan. We have our final call today, but we're going to email everybody right after this meeting today.
Cool.
And we want to do morning and afternoon.
Cool.
Because of that exact situation.
Yeah.
But also the fans love it, right? Like I have so many people compliment me on the 3-man more than anything else that we do as far as a fan engagement. So it's like, to me, it's like Thursday night football. It's not ideal for any of the players or the teams, but it's good for the sport.
Yeah, those guys are making millions though.
Those guys are making millions. And I'm trying to get you there.
No, I love it, Tom. I love it. Just keep telling me how high to jump, how far to run. All those things. Let me know when to leave the back center. I got you.
I'm on you. I'll tell you to be number 1 in the snake. I don't think you're pulling that off.
I've done it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pull up the tape, running, shooting the whole way. They'll never accept.
I know you probably don't know this, but that's what I do on the weekends. I pull up old Marcelo tape and just run that.
That makes sense. I knew you're a fan for a reason.
Just run that old Marcelo tape.
That's why you're such a fan.
You guys are too much.
Any more questions? We're on an hour and a half here.
I think we about got through them all. And thank you once again, Tom, for being here. Thank you everybody for sounding off in the chat. There were a couple, and I think we can tackle those in the chat rooms there. But we can't thank you enough, Tommy, for everything you're doing behind the scenes, man. Working your ass off always, and just making sure that we have a strong paintball scene rolling. So thank you. Yeah, man.
I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you.
Yep. We'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to the show. We appreciate your support more than you know. As you guys heard about midway through the episode, if you guys would like to support PTG in any way, you could head over to ptgpaintball.com. You could click the orange Patreon link and sign up at any level and get access to our Discord. The Discord is one of the most phenomenal communities in the game of paintball. We have so many different channels in there. It's great for learning. It's great for connecting, finding teams, selling equipment, whatever it is you want to do in there. We truly have it all. And we hope to see you in there. So again, head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the orange Patreon link, and we will see you in there.